is Friday, March 21st, and we are enjoying some sunny but cool weather, and our students are about to run the Sport Relief Mile. We are honoured to be joined today by athlete Ben Rowlings, who will officially start the race. But first, we are going to talk to our guest about his athletic career so far. So Ben, not even 18 yet, and already you've taken part in over 100 events, both in this country and abroad. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've done up to now.
My name's Ben. I come from a little town called Newport in the middle of Shropshire somewhere. It's in my little fields. I started racing about 4 years ago. Since I started, I'm now inside the world top 8 for every distance on track. European top 4 every distance on track, and that's for senior level. Pushing forward, looking at Europeans and World Juniors this year, and then seeing where I stand after that on the way up to Rio.
Wow, that's amazing. So, you train in Coventry with your coach Joe King. What kind of things do you do to prepare for these competitions, and how regularly do you need to train?
I train a lot, twice a day, 6 days a week in my race chair, doing about 150 miles a week in total, and then I do 3 gym sessions on top, just to make sure that I'm as strong and as fit as I can be. Going into competition, Joe just kind of takes it all back and goes through tactics and stuff. Particularly doing the 800 metres this year, it's all going to get very tactical and very precise in what I need to do. So we just strip it all back, stay nice and relaxed, and go from there.
Wow, that's really impressive. So you race in the T34 class. Could you explain what this means?
The T is quite simple, it stands for track, and then the 34 is the classification group. It's a classification just for athletes with cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is the condition I've got. It's a brain injury. So my brain injury was caused from a lack of oxygen at birth. So the part of my brain that's involved with movement and moving all my muscles around is kind of, the signals don't get sent down to my arms and my legs properly, so moving around, in particular my legs, is quite difficult, so my legs are always in cramp. So you can imagine being tucked up in a chair, it gets quite painful over a long period of time. But they just put us all in one classification, so we all race against people with the same disability. It makes it a lot more of a fair playing field.
And the under-20 age group classification, you're not even 18 yet, so how long have you been in the under-20 category, and is it a lot tougher than the younger age group?
I've been in the under-20s pretty much since I started. I started at the age of 15, 16, so since then I've been in under-20s, but the thing with Paralympic sport is you don't really look at the junior age groups, the under-20s, the under-17s, you look at the seniors, because they're the people you're going to be racing in major competitions. So when I'm looking for selection for Europeans, I'll be looking at the seniors, the quick guys, the adults, the big burly men that have beards and everything. And then going into Paris again, we're just going to be looking at going for the seniors. So I know one of my competitors is from Tunisia, he's about 28, 29. So I'll be looking to be racing him in future games and stuff, and seeing how I stack against him. So you don't really look at under-20s or under-23s, it's all about seniors and where you stand against the adults.
Wow, so now before I hand over to Jacob, could I ask what inspired you to get into this sport and what motivates you to carry on?
I think I've always been really, really sporty. Since a young age, I was the kid at primary school that used to waddle out and try and play football even though he couldn't really run. I'm a big rugby fan. I've always wanted to play it, but obviously not going to play rugby if you can't run. So I went through different sports. I went through swimming, athletics, triathlon, and racing is the one that stuck. Don't know whether it's because you're going really quick. I mean, on track you're hitting up to 20 miles an hour, but something about it just kind of sticks. And I think my main motivation is Rio. That's where I want to be. That's where I want to make my big Paralympic debut. Nice trip to Brazil as well. It's always good, nice and hot over there. But Rio's just the thing that I wake up in the morning, I think about Rio, I go to bed sleeping, thinking what can I do to get better to make sure that I'm on that plane. Because it's quite tough. There's not going to be many spaces when you get there, so I'm just going to make sure I'm on that plane and make sure I get my spot.
Now, despite being just 17, you've already won quite a few medals at the British Wheelchair Racing Association Championships, the Sainsbury School Games and the England Senior Disability Championships. What achievement has meant the most to you so far, and why?
The school games is always a big one. That's always one that I plan into my season going forward and stuff for the year. Because you represented England, it's a big stage, it gets televised, you get all sponsored by Sainsbury's, it's a full multi-sport environment. It's there to kind of replicate an Olympic Games and stuff. So that's always a big one, and winning 2 golds this year, doubling up over 1 and 2 was good. That was a good point in last season's racing. But I think my best achievement is probably going out to Dubai. I was racing the gold medalist and world record holder from Tunisia over the 1 and 200 metres, and I got a silver and 2 bronze over the races over there. It was my first big international. It was a bit nerve-wracking because I was a long way from home, and I was a bit daunting being around people I've never met before, and the people that you see on TV and stuff, and that was scary. But I think to be able to step up and show that actually it's just another race and I can still go up there with the big boys and compete, that was a big plus for me.
Yeah, that's really impressive. And I believe you had to pull out of the Silverstone half marathon earlier this month with buckled wheels. Does this happen often, and do you have to find the money to replace them before you can race again?
It doesn't happen often. It was completely my fault that I crashed. I was pushing really well. It was a half marathon. I was just about the 7 mile mark. I went down the hill, took a corner too quick, 20 mile an hour into a set of barriers, snapped a set of Belbin wheels. So it's not a cheap fix. I think I've had to buy another set of wheels. I'm training on my spare ones at the moment. I'll make sure I have spares of everything so it doesn't stop me training or racing or something. But yeah, it wasn't. I think those are £1,300 wheels that I wrecked. But yeah, I get a lot of support from lottery funding and Sport England, but that's mainly travelling, training costs, all the equipment stuff I have to fund off my own back. And so yeah, I managed to get some local charities to help me with the wheels and stuff, but everything, pretty much all the chair and the maintenance and stuff, I try and do myself.
Right. And Amelia mentioned inspiration and motivation earlier on. As a Twitter and Facebook user, do you think social networking has a positive influence on up-and-coming athletes? Do you use it to try and help and advise others and seek help and advice in social networks yourself?
I mean, Twitter is a great tool, it just depends on how you use it. For up-and-coming athletes like me, it's a great way to publicise yourself, it's a great way to get your name out there. The more you can get out of it, the better, because it's a great way to get sponsors, a great way to find about different competitions that you can do, and that way. And if people need advice, or if you need advice yourself, it's a great way of finding people to talk to, or people that have already had experience. I mean, I was talking to one of my good mates, Hannah Cockcroft, the other day on Twitter, and she was trying to help us through certain things with our racing, and it's a great way of getting more experience and learn. You have to be a real student of your sport and learning about everything and how to do everything yourself and being quite independent. So it's a great tool for using it like that.
Yeah. Here at William Brookes we've got a really strong sporting culture, and lots of students are involved in all sorts of athletic pursuits outside of school. As our youngest ever visiting athlete, do you have anything you'd like to say to them about your experience and why they should stay on track with their dreams?
I think everyone has to have a goal, whether it's in school or whether it's in sport or whether it's in art or music. You have to wake up knowing what you want to do when you're older. Since a really young age I woke up and went, I want to do sport. I couldn't do the sitting down in an office job, it doesn't suit me. I can't sit still, I'm always moving. So obviously you're going to have a motivation. It's just knowing that you're going to have to sacrifice some things, so whether it's going out on a Friday night with your mates or if it's not having that extra chocolate bar in your lunch. Knowing that you've got to try and sacrifice something, it makes it a whole lot sweeter when you do get it. So I know that if I get on that plane to Rio, I've put everything in it. It doesn't matter about the parties that I've missed or the diets that I've been on or the fact that my brother's eating ice cream and I'm there with a banana. It'll just feel so much better. I feel like you've actually earned the spot there and it's not just been given out to you. And I think that's a great way to look at everything, is you know you're going to have to give something up. it's going to be a whole lot better when you do get the final award.
Yeah, thank you. And well, it's nearly time to fire the starting pistol and raise some money for Sport Relief. So I have to say a big thank you and goodbye to our very special guest, Ben Rowlings. Thank you.